Look at McMurray. He has a big run down.
Oh, we got one spinning.
And it's McMurray.
Got it.
Man, that thing is flipping, rolling.
That car is junk.
You got that right.
Well,
I just hope he's
for a
okay.
ride right
He
there.
had
Newman with a pretty good run. No, he maybe cut a tire.
Something happened to that car. It just went around all by itself on the straightaway.
And see, what really set that car over was when Newman hit him on the left side, it lifted the right side up and caught air.
Yeah.
And look at that car come apart against the fence.
It just disintegrates.
I mean, everything did its job of what it's designed to do. The fence kept the car on the racetrack.
Unless you wonder, folks, this is not creative broadcasting. We're not making something out of nothing. We've got a genuine potential here. Trouble on the front stretch. A car has slammed the wall at the just going into turn number 1. And that is the machine of Brad Keselowski. And Mark, that car got up on its roof, Rob Albright, and that was a hard crash there. Sorry to cut you off, but a big-time crash there for Brad Keselowski, who had been running inside the top 6 all day long, and that's going to bring out the yellow flag, and that means we're also set up for a green-white checkered finish here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Robbie's come to rest fairly close to you. Well, you know, I'm a long way, actually. I'm at the exit of turn 2. He's right at the entrance to turn 1. I saw that car after it had already gotten upside down. I'm watching the replay now in my Sprint fan view, and he just cuts down right in front of the lap car of Carl Edwards. The car gets airborne, slams the outside wall roof first, slides down to the inside of the racetrack. It's very apparent at this point that its driver, Brad Keselowski, is no longer in control. Fate is, it goes back up this 24-degree banking, nearly collects another car, and comes to rest against the outside wall where it still sits. I don't like the looks of that wreck. It hit on the roof right around the driver's side, and you know what? I think this was Carl Edwards' payback for what happened earlier in this race. He came up behind Brad Keselowski and turned him around right here in the middle of the front stretch. And Mark, when Keselowski's car got sideways, this is the kind of thing we see normally happen at a Daytona or a Talladega. That car got airborne, came down on its roof, and then rolled back over on 4 wheels, and now the car sets right out.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the bottom of the track. Jr. will win Daytona. And the big one happens behind them. Oh my God.
Rex starts in front. He runs in the back of the 24. Gets up on the 11. Now he's on top of the 50.5. And now it's just along for the ride. Watch the car stop. Watch the car stop. It gets into those poles, and it goes from, I don't know what, 180, 190 miles an hour, I'm just guessing, to a complete stop. That is unbelievable.
And it looks like that's 3,500 pounds. That stock car is extremely heavy. You see here, after he's upside down, the 2 is spinning. Obviously, he's already lost control, makes more contact with the 3.
11 and the 4 to get together. Here we are at the start-finish line.
It just pushes the 3 up into the air enough that it rolls over the top of a car. And then that momentum just continues to move him into the catch fence.
I tell you, it's amazing. You give a guy a shot and he shoots him forward.
Oh boy, Stanley Steamer.
Whoa, there's
and around she goes into Kenseth.
Oh gosh.
Up in the air and into the wall hard.
Man, Kenseth. Man, I thought he was going to catch the catch fence back there. The way it landed was.
I am not believing that.
He's fine, boy. He got the window net down right away out of frustration. The 4 car, Harvick.
Danica climbs out. Radio cord gets disconnected.
She hit him in the right front. And when that happened, just got air underneath the car.
Is anybody left in this race?
Let's watch from the Goodyear aerial coverage, and you'll see several things happen here as Kenseth's car comes back down to earth.
I can tell you, a lot of teams are going to be freezing those shots.
Race, he has led it today. He finished 13th. He said it was that win. Out of control goes Kenseth. And over on his roof. back on the team. A wild ride for the Daytona 500 winner, Matt Kenseth. You see Matt moving in there. You can see him trying to get the window net down. There he comes out. He's coming out. It's good to see. That was Katie Kenseth, his wife there. That's a scary moment for anybody. Definitely a scary moment for Matt. See Matt a little bit frustrated, angry. Didn't see exactly what caused that. We just saw him kind of bounce out of line there. Just know at this time of the race that the guys are going to start giving less and bumping harder. And all it takes is just a little bit there when you're in the middle. No save. Just a testament to the safety of these cars, too. They can take a leap like that. See, Matt's in second place right here behind Ryan Newman. See what happens. He goes to block. Comes back in line. It looks like he may get a tap. Yeah, he gets a tap from David Reagan. Yeah. Car gets out of shape and it just pirouettes on its left side and goes over. And we talk about the bump drafting has to be done on the straightaway, and you can see even on the straightaway, if you get hit too hard, it just takes the steering wheel out of your hands as a driver. This was the scary part right here when he's on his roof for so long. Looked for a minute like he might save it, but then got down there. God, this is tough. Yeah, Matt really did a great job. He goes up in front. He takes out 15 or 18 cars, so he did a great job of not creating that situation.
A little bit what's gone on the track so far. Wild ride for young David Reagan. He blew a tire and collected Jason Leffler in the process. No one's fault, just part of going 180 plus miles an hour, and comparatively not much damage to either of the cars. Now clearly one of the worst looking incidents of the entire test session for all three series on the backstretch. Eric Almirola from Joe Gibbs Racing makes some contact coming down the track and ends up on his roof. Fortunately, only the car was damaged. It was a very scary looking tumble, mostly because he was upside down for quite a while, but the safety crews of the track got the car back on its wheels and got Almirola out, but a tough way to get accustomed to Daytona. So
and Harvick's getting a run off turn 4. It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution. They're side by side, right to the line.
Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag. Harvick. Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500.
We got one car on his roof coming across the start-finish line.
Still wrecking. They're wrecking everywhere. Boyer's on fire. Jeff Gordon's wrecked.
And they are still wrecking.
Montoya, Stremme, Kenseth, Biffle, Marlin, Carl Edwards, Casey Mears all crashed on the final lap. New one for the record books. Have you ever?
Well, a couple of times.
I'm going to repeat what I heard a few years ago. No, I have never.
I got so excited I broke the damn mirror in half.
Jeff Gordon's day ends about like his teammates.
Clint Boyer came across the start-finish line on his roof.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain. This get some kind of big move here off turn 4 like Kevin did. Oh, and there
shots into the wall with
ran.
the one of McMurray. 3, 4 cars around. One on its roof. One car hard into the wall.
That was
and it ends in flames and sparks.
Our front row sitter up here, he's got a torn up race car, Mark 78 car.
Jimmy Johnson, he looks okay. Front end of his car on fire. McMurray crawls across the start-finish line to earn a spot in the 500. The field is frozen as of the caution flag, and Jamie McMurray's car all torn up. 59.5 great laps, and then this.
I just didn't have a good feeling when Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon got side by side. I felt like that was not a good move for either one of them, and of course we had trouble.
Michael Waltrip's car into the pit wall. And Michael moving around in the car. Trying to get unhooked.
He nailed the end of that wall pretty good.
Yeah, he actually had hit the inside wall before pit road first.
David Reagan.
David Reagan's
the
car.
winner at Talladega. His car all torn up.
And you know what? This changes everything. I mean, what's the results going to be now with all these cars wrecked? And
we're going to have to wait for an official finish. But it looks as if Casey Mears, who had to stop, did so, avoided calamity, and makes the 500. Michael Waltrip climbs out with a badly damaged car. And yes, as Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson got side by side, the air over both cars seemed to stall them, and everyone else felt a sense of urgency and a need to move.
Well, let's see what happens here. The 48 and the 24, they get side by side. Here comes McMurray. Menard had a fast car all day long, and here comes McMurray, and he just gets a little bit of piece of that 48. A lot like happened in the Unlimited. Looked like Jimmy's car just got loose and spun.
Look at Clint Boyer in that 15 car get up in the air.
Thing went it did a 360. Unbelievable.
Did a barrel roll and came right back down on its wheels.
And he'll cross the start-finish line.
Cars, more than half the field have been involved. So, Darrell, do drivers, are they afraid of this track?
I think there is a fear factor here. I think if you've never scared yourself here, then you haven't been racing very hard. When you race hard, you scare yourself.
Well, I'm going to tell you right quick, this place is dangerous. I don't care what you say. You see what happened to Kyle Busch yesterday.
Very true. Outside lane, hanging tough here on the restart.
Oh, here we go.
Trouble. That's Casey Kane that goes sideways. Joey Logano nowhere to go.
Oh, my. Half the field is gone.
The big one at Daytona has happened at lap 97.
That is the huge one at Daytona.
Justin Allgaier.
Oh, the 18 gets on its roof.
And Kyle Busch rolls upside down.
Wow.
See the 26 car of Cole Witt, the 38 of David Gilliland.
Just having a good old time over here. Just hanging around. Okay, just stay buckled up. Let them get you flipped over here.
That's Kyle Busch. Yeah, there goes our antenna on the onboard of the 18. Kyle Busch. And that was I think the slowest rollover
and the latest
I've ever seen.
It was almost like a delayed reaction to the crash. Saw rookie Ryan Truex backing through your picture. He had damage. Safety crews are there.
And let me tell you that, you know, when you're upside down in one of these cars, Kyle, because you're so buckled in. Let's take a replay here. It looks like the 16 got into the 5 a little bit too hard and just turned him. And man, talk about getting piled up.
Watch the 3 car when we get another replay of Austin Dillon come shooting up through the middle and trying to avoid the accident.
26.
No, got trouble getting into 3, guys. Joey Logano. Big crash. Oh, he's upside down.
Over and over, Logano goes between 3 and 4.
No.
Our car will come back to rest on all 4 tires. Heavy crash here on lap 32.
See Robbie Gordon, Martin Truex, Reed Sorensen involved in this. I looked up, saw the 20 car on the apron getting into the corner. See the crew here, they're trying to see the replay.
Now the window net is down. That's the drivers are told in the drivers meeting that if you are awake and alert, put that window net down so we know, the safety crews will know. There's the window net down on Robbie Gordon's car. This is the moment we talked about in the pre-race show, guys, that this stuff could happen in a hurry here, even at Dover.
And especially after on a restart when all the cars are bunched together. It's good to see here that the window net came down, that 20 car. We're a little obscured from how that car got so low on the back straightaway. And I saw it, just could barely see the roof of the car. Yeah, I looked up and he was way down on the apron, actually entering the corner, way before the entry. There's a great sign right there. Joey Logano coming out of the car. That's a scary looking crash right there.
Young man had so much success at this racetrack, really got his name out there when he won a Camping World East race here for NASCAR, won a championship here, made his first nationwide start earlier in the year, becoming the youngest winner in NASCAR Sprint Cup history. There's Robbie Gordon out of his car. He'll get a record to take it back to the garage area.
And the cars have been stopped on the back straightaway because of the amount of debris. They didn't want them running through this. See heavy damage on Martin Truex's car.
Let's show you how this all unfolded here on the restart, going down the back straightaway.
Really just kind of a stack-up effect. Like was one of them got on the brakes and kind of forced. Yeah, look at Tony Stewart just missing this crash. Man, here's where it really gets exciting. Man, we talked about that there's nowhere to go as you come off of these corners, and when something like this happens, you make a commitment, and you've got one opportunity really to miss this wreck. Tony Stewart did a great job. Some others got.
And slams the wall. Comes Schrader, and Newman is in the air and over. Ryan Newman, last year's Rookie of the Year. The rear end ripped from the car.
Look at that thing lift up, Larry.
Just takes off like an airplane.
That's 3,400 pounds, folks. Just lifting up in the air like a feather.
And the right rear wheel digs into the dirt and tears the whole rear end loose from the car.
Yeah, if the tire hadn't come off of the wheel, it probably wouldn't have turned over like that. But once the tire came off, and it just had it.
In the middle of that group, it would cause a huge wreck. We've heard. Oh, here's a car upside down.
Big time crash upside down.
It's Ryan Newman. See Kevin Harvick there. Marcus Ambrose.
Ambrose is there, comes across. Harvick stops, and Newman's car comes to rest upside down on its roof. We were hoping it would not happen, and here with 5 laps to go, it needed has.
Hell of a job.
I don't know what started that, but you see quite a bit of damage on that car. Flipped over 3 or 4 times. Yeah, I was looking out the window, but I could not see. That's so far. That's the furthest point away from us. Just couldn't tell what was going on there.
The safety crews are there immediately. They get in the car and will try to communicate with the driver. And watch the car get turned around.
In fact, he and his teammate Tony Stewart got into the wall, but you can see it turns Ryan Newman around. As soon as it does, it's almost like that wing acts as to help to lift the car up. Lands on Kevin Harvick's hood. See Elliott Sadler there involved.
Elliott trying to jam the brakes on to keep from hitting the 39 as it was pirouetting up the track. He's able to miss it. Harvick able to get the car woed down as the 39 just comes rolling down on its roof onto the grass and comes over again another 360 before coming to rest on its top.
There was some talk of whether the team could switch points.
Whoa, guys, whoa. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. I have never seen anything like that in my life.
He hit that wall a ton.
Oh, my gosh.
Michael's moving around in the car. My goodness, that car just hooked, went straight in.
It did that hook and go up the hill, man.
And that was a incredibly hard impact into the safer barrier.
Look at that safer barrier right there, how it just crushed all that stuff.
That is good, though. That means that thing moved.
It's great. It's just incredible how hard it hit.
And then the flipping helped the car dissipate the remaining energy, parts flying off it.
Look at that.
Look at that. Goodness. And wave to the fans.
My goodness.
That says so much for these race cars. It says so much for what these racetracks have done with this safer barrier. That is unbelievable.
And he walked away and waved to the crowd.
My goodness. That was unbelievable. I haven't seen a wreck like that anywhere lately.
And certainly not with these cars. I've never seen one of these COT platforms take a hit like this.
Let's take a look. I think you're going to see him get loose the minute he turns down into the corner.
Yeah, and he's just, man, and that thing just absolutely.
I will guarantee you that impact was well over 180, probably 185 miles per hour. We've already seen 199 or better getting in there going straight.
That's a part of the racetrack.
I can't even hardly watch that.
It's part of the racetrack, but Murray said was a little slick getting in. Not knowing if Michael changed his line a little bit, got a little.
2 tires on this stop. This car just loose early on in this race, but they did settle it down.
Much better straight away. A big hit, and Jimmy Johnson goes spinning.
Down. Busher. Oh, man.
Chris Buescher on his lid and lands back on his wheels. Caution.
Oh, man, we saw 4 wide off the corner over there. I was afraid of this.
Michael Annett involved.
3 car was involved.
Chris Buescher had the worst of it. Austin Dillon.
Side. It's
the 35 Gilliland above the 3. Now McMurray in the 1, the red car, comes up, just brushes Austin Dillon.
Turns him into the 35.
And Dillon gets into Gilliland. Joey Logano turned the 48. And Buescher goes for a big tumble.
I didn't think that thing was going to stop rolling there for a second, DW.
Goodness.
Oh, there they go.
There we go. There was no way.
Oh, it's Kurt Busch up and over. Boyer's in it. Bobby Labonte's in it. Stremmy's in it. Jeff Gordon down to the grass.
Nothing else coming from behind you.
And Kurt Busch went over and over.
Boyer, McMurray.
They're just, guys, I'm with Denny. And, you know, having been in these situations several times, there's no way you can race that way and make it.
And for the 6th time in 7 Talladega races, a pileup in the last 8 laps. Look at Ryan Newman's wrecked race car. He's dropped the window net, assigned a safety cruise that he is okay.
The 78 car, Kurt Busch, it is destroyed.
Oh, and J.J. Yaley on track for his 2nd top 10 restrictor plate finish, and Danica Patrick, both torn up.
Yeah, J.J. Yaley in that 36, he had actually cracked the top 5 there, headed onto the back stretch.
Look at the 39 car here of Ryan Newman. Somebody been on top of him.
I think that somebody was Kurt Busch. Let's watch from the Goodyear blimp and see how this unfolds. Watch Kurt Busch, the black car on the bottom.
I think it starts up on the outside here. Let's see. Right in here somewhere.
That's Regan Smith in the middle and Yaley up top.
Right here, the 51 car. Owen Stenhouse squeezes to the outside.
And that's Yaley in the 36.
And that shoved Yaley down. And look at that 78 car upside down and then lands on top of Ryan Newman's 39 car.
Bobby Labonte involved.
So it was Stenhouse, the rookie, trying to go 4 wide on the outside, running out of room with his number 17.
Yeah, and running out of time. I mean, he's, you know, desperate. And you see the 36 move down just a little bit. And Yaley and Stenhouse thought he could squeeze by on the, next to the wall, and he just couldn't make it. And this kid's ugly. Watch his thing.
Right on top of Ryan Newman.
Hadn't Ryan Newman had cars on top of him before here?
I think the 2009 race.
I think you're right.
Brad Keselowski and Carl Edwards coming to the checkered flag.
White flag.
White flag is out. 2.6 miles to go.
Oh, trouble.
Trouble, the big one. On the dinger, on his lid. Side over side, end over end.
Kevin Harvick's going to win this race.
Actually ended this race.
But Jimmy Johnson got out of shape first there. It saves it. And right behind him, everybody starts getting together. Looks like Tony Stewart forces Allmendinger upside down.
Boy, and that, thank goodness, the safer barriers on that inside wall.
Yeah, and we've seen in past that when something happens behind the leaders, that NASCAR's let these guys race.
He said, I think we're going to have a fast race car. His spotter, Eddie DeHunt, just told him it's time to be greedy.
There he goes. There we go. Here we go.
Oh, upside
down.
Side.
Well, AJ, that was a humdinger.
Yes, it was, and that's there he is upside down, and I hope he's all right. I see him moving around in there.
He chased his car, yawed out just a tiny bit in the corner.
And they got him loose.
That's all it takes.
That's the one. He was going to save it till that last little bump.
I was just going to say, AJ, just be a little patient here. We got a little ways to go yet, and you got a pretty good car. Wow.
In a moment.
This is amazing footage, folks.
Incredible camera work.
Just remember, there's a driver in every one of those cars. Watch.
Well, that's a long, slow roll for Allmendinger. And look, both those cars end up pretty much together, along with the mess that was Logano's car and Michael McDowell's. Harvick had damage in that, so did Trevor Bayne, Eric Jones, Matt Kenseth, all involved.
And as a driver, I've been upside down at Daytona one time and slid on my roof just like that, sparks flying, and I was just hoping at the last second it was going to roll back over so I could get out. But AJ's didn't do that. He was stuck upside down. Not a comforting feeling. That oil tank is right behind you. It's very possible for oil to start leaking out. You want to get out of there as fast as you can.
Looks like there were only about a dozen cars who had a chance to evade to the inside and not get any damage in this.
I'm watching that green 2 car. I don't know if he's just kind of following us through here. Not sure if he got any damage or not.
Yeah, I think I saw him stop a little bit too soon, as if he made contact.
May have hit the outside wall.